when Tim and I recorded the first couple Tim Talks movies with Seth, we recorded them all at once in the camp office. And there was a clock. And so you heard it like for the first 3 episodes. It was pretty awful. Well, how are you, Isaac?
I'm good, man. It's been like 1,056 days or something. I actually just got a Facebook notification about it.
Yeah, like 3 years ago. I guess it was longer. It was like 4 years ago.
It was a long time
because before
ago,
Charlie
man.
was born. So 4 years ago, we started this adventure. And who ever thought? I mean, we always joked around about maybe doing it again. But here we are, Isaac.
Here we are.
We're doing it. It's the guy's guide to chick flicks.
What was old is now new.
It's like a rebirth. Like I would say before this podcast was the caterpillar of the beautiful butterfly that is now, hopefully will grow into. Perhaps now we are just in the emerging from the chrysalis. Our wings still wet from the metamorphosis, unable to fly, but give us time and those wings will dry and then we will take flight.
In this, a summer of reboots, the most beautiful reboot of all is happening in your Subaru tonight.
That's true. That's where we are, is in my Subaru, or as I like to call it, the recording studio.
I like to call it a Subaru.
That's also fair. That's what it is.
Subaru Outback, I believe.
It's a legacy. 2001 legacy.
Just like this podcast.
It is
a legacy.
Well, since it has been 4 years since we've done one of these things, if you've never listened to this before, hey, that's great. We only did like 3 of them.
Yeah, it's a great time to jump in. Just start with this one.
So, also, I don't think you can find... The other ones don't exist online anymore.
Yeah, so that's another reason to start with this one.
So the show is that, chick flicks maybe get a bad rap, and also we really kind of argue on what that term means. And there are different kinds of chick flicks, I think is really where we were getting mad at each other based on we were wanting one thing to be a chick flick, but really chick flicks are multiple things.
But we're here to help you guys.
Or maybe girls that don't like them.
Chick flicks are everywhere, and let's be honest, if you're a good boyfriend or a good husband, you're going to have to sit through some, and we're here to tell you which ones are worth sitting through and which ones you're just going to have to say, now I'm going to sit this one out. We're here to help you.
But we're also here for the ladies to maybe let you understand why the guys in your life are a little not so keen to be on them. And then also we're just here hopefully to have a good time if you're somebody who doesn't fit into one of those categories, in which case I wouldn't know who you are, but you're just a sad, lonely person. But we're here for you. If you're a sad, lonely person, we're here for you in that you can feel like you're talking to us about the movie. Absolutely. You have some friends, us.
I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I've figured out in my life that I'm kind of a sucker for these movies.
I love chick flicks.
Which means if they're bad and me and Seth don't like them, then they're bad.
I'm very easy to please. My whole life people have told me, hey, Seth, you're way too easy on movies. I remember, it was back with Tim when we would talk movies, I'd always rate higher than him. I gave Chappie an 8 out of 10.
Oh, I remember this.
But even in high school, I had a friend named Cedar Edel, and he... I would always tell him, hey, go watch this movie. And he eventually told me, Seth, I never listened to you because you like every movie. And that's fair. I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to movies.
But there are those ones.
Yes.
That sneak through, that even Seth...
That I don't like.
Does not like.
And
we'll get there.
Like Ghostbusters.
Yeah, like Ghostbusters.
That's for a different day.
We actually open with a pretty darn good one, I gotta say.
I don't want to show my hand.
I liked it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you liked it. We are going to be talking about... We figured reboot. Let's go big. So we went with one of the biggest.
At the peak.
We went with The Notebook. Nicholas Sparks' The Notebook.
We're talking bringing Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams into the limelight here.
Before they were famous.
This is the movie that catapulted them into where they are today.
And let me tell you this. Let me just start off strong when it comes to this movie. Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams, my least favorite part of this movie.
Ooh, brutal.
My least favorite part of this movie. This movie's really divided, we'll just get into it. This movie's divided into 2 parts, right?
Yeah.
There's old people, and then there's the story that is getting told. We're going to spoil this movie also.
So we're going to run through this whole thing.
So we're going to, I guess we both throw it out right here. This is not one that you have to skip out on. It is, be warned in that it will probably destroy you. Like, right?
The movie?
Yeah.
I did get a little choked up.
Okay, we'll get there. It's an emotional movie.
It's an emotional
So
movie.
just be ready for that. It's
Yeah.
not like one of those like, hey man, I'm in a good mood, you're in a good mood. Let's ruin that. Let's ruin this afternoon by watching The Notebook.
Let's pop in The Notebook and just have a chuckle. That's not going to be the case here.
I mean, it might. I did chuckle quite a bit during this movie, but mostly it was at how dumb people were. So, but we'll get into that. So, but yeah, like we were saying, this movie's divided into two parts. There's the young person part, which is where most of my problems lie. And then there's the old person part, which is phenomenal. Like, mwah, mwah, like delicious. I love it.
Movie opens up. We're in old folks' home.
Mm-hmm.
We got James Garner
Playing Duke.
killing it
Oh,
as Duke.
yes.
Killing it
Phenomenal.
as Duke. And he walks in and he's reading a story to this old lady.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Allie. We actually don't know her name, but her name's Allie.
She is credited as Allie.
And she's got dementia, and so he's going to read to her and try and make her feel better, and he's reading her this old love story from the 1940s, and that's when we flash back into the good chunk of the movie.
Really?
Where
That's
we got my man Gosling.
Oh gosh, they are like
Rachel McAdams.
Rachel McAdams and Ryan Gosling do a good job in this movie. I guess it wasn't fair for me to say they were my least favorite part. Their characters are detestable, and like I can't.
You can't say that though,
Can't stand
because
them.
those are the same folks.
No, that you can say that. Someone can be a jerk when they're younger, and then grow up to be somebody who you're like, yeah, you're not too bad.
Well, to be fair, they start off when they're 17.
That is very true, and something you have to remember, because I was watching this with somebody, with my buddy Cliff, me and my wife Kayla,
Yeah.
and then my buddy Cliff and his wife
his wife,
Morgan. We were watching this movie, and and Cliff kept saying like, "Man, she's crazy, and I kept being like, "Yeah, she is crazy,"
No,
but then
she's crazy.
well, she was like very erratic, very emotional.
True.
You know, but then Morgan would remind us, she's 17 years old. She's a 17-year-old girl.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, that's fair. I guess 17-year-old girls can be a little emotional.
17-year-old girls are crazy.
No offense to any 17-year-old girls listening,
Yeah,
if
but
there are any.
yeah, but if you listen to this when you're 17 and then you go back and listen to this when you're 30, you'll be like, yeah, I was a little crazy.
Just a little crazy.
It just happens.
Everybody's crazy. I was crazy when I was 17.
I was crazy when I was 17. Then you grow up and you're like, man, I was crazy when I was 17.
Yeah, good thing I didn't let my decisions of my 17-year-old summer drive my entire life. Unlike the characters of this movie.
True.
So they kind of fall in love with each other this one summer.
Not kinda.
They fall in love.
They
and
go
they were
head
inseparable.
over heels with each other.
They were inseparable. And so they're inseparable, but yet like it took both of their parents all summer to meet the other person.
Not Gosling's dad.
That's true. But it
met
took
it
a
right
while.
away.
It seemed like.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was kind of like montage.
It was a montage,
of
so it's hard to
happiness.
judge. That could have been a day.
Right. Ryan Gosling's dad is awesome, and
Yeah.
then of course the rich parents are stuck up, dumb.
The dad's not that bad. I mean, he's kind of a jerk, but like he's not evil like the mom is.
The
So
mom
he-
is evil.
So he falls kind of like into a better light. He looks a little bit better because like he also never like says like Ryan Gosling is trash like the mom
Yeah, he
does.
does.
No, and he said like he's not good enough for you, but he whispered that to her. So Ryan Gosling never heard that. But I don't know. Man, do you know what would be the more interesting part? I'm kind of skipping ahead, but the more interesting part of this movie would be like the part of their lives you don't see. Like I want to see what happened like when after they get married, spoilers, and before they get old. Like that's the part I'm like, well, what was it like with the in-laws? What was it like having kids? That would have been interesting. And also, let me say this. I've never read The Notebook, but I have read the sequel to The Notebook, which is called The Wedding. And there's a big difference in the book, The Notebook. Here's a spoiler for The Notebook. They both die at the end, right? The two old people.
yeah.
Their love lets them die together, which
Right.
is very nice. And,
Sweet.
And we'll talk about how that affected me later. But we're all over the place. But in the book, he doesn't die.
Oh.
So in the sequel, it's called The Wedding, and it's about his son-in-law is the main character, and Noah is a big part, like a mentor character for him.
Oh.
It's awesome. That book is great. Also, Nicholas Sparks writes at like a 5th grade reading level, so when I read his books, I'm like, I'm smart. I can read a book.
No offense to Nicholas Sparks.
Oh, well,
but it's true.
Newspapers are written at like 5th grade reading level or 3rd grade even.
It's true.
So.
It's written for mass consumption.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
I did not know that. But
Anyway,
yes.
But I recommend that. I recommend that book.
And that would be why there is no sequel to The Notebook, because both of your protagonists are dead at the end.
But also, it's not like Romeo and Juliet where they're dead and you're like, oh, how sad. It's like they're old.
This woman, his wife, who has dementia, remembers him, lets him crawl into bed with her. They embrace, and then they pass away peacefully in the night. Beautiful. Beautifully done.
So this brings up my big problem. My one big problem with the old person part of the movie, and it's this. I feel like everyone works at the retirement home should be fired.
Absolutely.
Because there's a couple things.
I'm just thinking in my head, this is a daily thing that he does for her. He makes every day a huge grand sweeping gesture, and everybody in the retirement home goes along with it every day.
Even that, like, I'm okay with, because like, if like most of the time, I'm sure nothing happens. Like, nothing comes from it. Like, he reads it and he feels like he tried, and she doesn't remember, and that's okay. But then there are the days, like where it does happen and there's a big fuss, and it's like, okay, she's going to have episodes like that anyway. It's okay. My big problems are these. One, there's a part in the movie where it'll cut back and forth from the past and then show that they're reading, and then they'll go and do something. So one of the times it cuts back to the old people getting done reading the book, it's a guy who has recently had heart attacks, 2 heart attacks in the last year, and a woman with dementia sitting on a dock together, and there's no one around. There's no one around. Who decided that was okay? Like, he has a heart attack out there, and she's like, what's going on? And then they both end up in the river and drown.
But that didn't happen.
It didn't happen, but it could have happened. And when
you know why? It's because they trust Duke.
They trust Duke not to have a heart attack? He has a choice in that?
2 minor heart attacks.
He has 3 heart attacks by the end of the movie.
We don't know how he died.
No, but he had a heart attack and he had to go to the hospital.
Yes.
Yes.
You're correct.
I know. So maybe he had 4 heart attacks, but anyway, there's that. And then also when the nurse, it's just, I wouldn't want my parents to live in this retirement home. Because like or this assisted living place or whatever it is, like if you have people you love that go to a place like this to be taken care of, you want them to be taken care of. Not like be able to like run around like kids in school, like getting away with things when she's all like there's a part when Duke's at the end when he's trying to sneak into her room and she's all like, I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to get a cup of coffee. And so like she's letting him sneak around. Like when they find the 2 of them dead in that room the next morning, that lady's getting fired.
Well, it's my understanding that Duke is there on his own admission. So I understand them letting him kind of do whatever he wants.
She says she's not supposed to let him out because he just had a heart attack.
Right. I mean, that's just her being like, oh, old dude.
I know, and I know it's a movie and it's supposed to be sweet and everything, but I don't know. It just kind of struck me as I'm like, she shouldn't.
I mean, I get it. I mean, if I worked at the hospital and Duke came around, I'd be like, do what you want.
I know.
Buddy. I'd be the exact same way.
I know we would.
So I can't exactly fault.
I don't want to fault her for it, but I'm just saying, like, if I was Duke's kids, I would not be. I mean, maybe I would be happy. Would you be happy? Because like you don't know the conversation that they had, like right before they died. Like they have this sweet conversation. I don't know if we're making any sense to people listening to this. We have jumped all over the place.
Anyway, so this movie, he reads her this story, right?
Yeah, let's go through the story.
He reads her this story, and it's a grand sweeping love story that spans, I don't know, close to 10 years, 7 or 8 years, I think.
It's like 8 years. It was 7 years. It was 7 years.
Yeah, so about, 8 years. They date when they're in high school. It's a real summer, love that they say, even though they're 17.
Well, I feel like they love each other.
He writes her every day for a year, and he never hears anything back from her. So he tries to...
She goes off to school.
She goes off to school. He goes off to war. He writes her every day for a year.
Mm-hmm.
He hears nothing back from her. And so he writes one final letter of like, hey, good luck to you. If I see you, I'll say hello. But other than that,
and he's a liar.
Have a good life.
Because he does see her, and he does not do what he was going to. In the letter, he's all like, if I see you later on in life, I'll look at you and I will say, I hope you have a good life. But really, he sees her and then he stews and he goes and buys a house and remodels it.
Yeah, so, when they're 17, they talk about this old plantation house, what they do to it, a big old white house with blue shutters, yada, yada. One way or another, his father gets him this house right before he dies.
After the
and
war.
He fixes it up to be exactly what him and Rachel McAdams talked about. And so, she finds him in a paper.
Yeah, because, I don't know why.
I don't know why, because she's
I'm sure
in,
it's in the book.
Well, she's in, New York.
I don't know how far, this house is worth a lot of money, though. She, makes this mega house.
She's gone away. Mm-hmm. And she's in a different city.
And she meets the best human being on the face of the planet, James Marsden.
He's a little full of himself.
What are you talking about? He's joking. That whole conversation, he's, making jokes. He does literally nothing wrong this entire movie.
This is true.
There's no faults.
It's true. And he's not a bad guy, and he never does anything wrong. He actually forgives her.
Yeah, she cheats on him.
She cheats on him.
She cheats on him.
He forgives her, and he says, I still love you. I still want to do this thing if you want to do it.
And the next scene is she leaves him.
But.
There's no but.
She doesn't love him.
No, she did love him, but she didn't love him as much as she loved Noah when she was 17 years old.
Or now.
Well, it was a week.
Well, to be fair, they get married when they're what? 25-ish? And then they stay married.
17, and then 7 years to 24, yeah.
Yeah, so they stay married from 24 till death.
That's great. Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just, the thing that gets me is that, it was 3 months tops, right, that they dated.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that 3 months, completely drives the rest of their life.
Absolutely.
Even though there was 7 years. And I know that people, can get together and then break up and then get back together. That's great. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But, when it's, 3 months and then you're not with that person forever and then you leave someone that you've been in a committed relationship with for, ever. And they're all I want to marry you. And you're like, I want to marry you, too. Which she should have just said no, right?
She should have.
And that's why I don't like Rachel McAdams a lot in this movie. One of my notes, I took some notes during this movie. Let me share some of my faults with Rachel McAdams. Can I share them? Or are you going to say something first?
One thing.
You say something first.
I will say this. Against Rachel McAdams' character.
Okay.
She sees the picture in the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And then she faints and feels like she has to go see Ryan Gosling.
But you're forgetting the voiceover when he proposes to her. And she says she couldn't help but think, she couldn't help but see Noah's face. She should have at that minute been like, maybe I shouldn't get married to you right now.
Right. And then she sees him, and then she goes, I don't know what kind of closure she thinks she's going to get by seeing him, but she goes.
If she hadn't crashed into the fence, it would have been the best closure. It would have been like, oh, I saw you, this is awkward, and then just left. But that's not what happened. She crashes into a fence because she's an idiot. Doesn't know how to do anything.
Okay. It's a little harsh.
Okay. Well, okay. Here's some of my problems that I have with Rachel McAdams in this movie, all right? The biggest problem is this, all right? Early in the movie, they go on their first date, right? And they go to a movie, and she's like, I haven't seen a movie in years. I just don't like going to see movies. At that point right there, I'm like, sorry, Rachel McAdams. We're done.
Trust you.
We're done.
Who doesn't watch movies?
Who doesn't like movies, okay? It's fine. You're great, whatever, but we're done. That's the point right there where I'd say, no, I don't want anything to do with her. On that same night, here's the problem I have with Ryan Gosling's character is this. What are your thoughts on laying in the middle of the street in the middle of the night, Isaac?
17.
I'm not asking, what you think of it as a 17-year-old. I'm asking,
I'll
what
tell
do
you
you
this.
think about...
I've done it.
What do you think? Do you think it is a good idea?
No, it's a horrible idea.
Okay.
So as is holding on to a bar to a Ferris wheel.
Yes. He's pretty dumb too, isn't he, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he's dumb when he's 17. And then he turns into grumpy old 24-year-old.
Grumpy old alcoholic 24-year-old. And then somewhere in there he turns into James Marsden. No, not James. If he's James Marsden, then I'd be
James
happy.
Garner.
Yeah, James Garner.
But, I think that the lack of love strangled his heart.
Oh my God.
And then as soon as he found the right person again, that chokehold was released. And then he becomes the nice, sensitive James Garner that we all love.
Yes.
Who dies horrifically at the end of this
Oh
movie.
God! Horrifically, train crashes through time home. Excuse me. If you had to guess, or like, what do you think there's a memorable line? Because we were watching this movie, a line happened, and Morgan said, "That's the best line in the movie," and it would have never stuck with me. I mean, but that's fair. I mean, like, there's lines that stick for me.
Absolutely.
But like,
there's a one line in Jurassic Park 3 where a raptor
Alan.
says Alan.
Alan.
And then there's a part where they're paragliding where a guy goes, nah, not yet.
Yes, I watched Jurassic Park 3 the other day, and I thought of not yet.
And nobody else those lines wouldn't stick out to anybody else but me and my brother James. Shout out to James.
Oh, James, loving it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gonna
Jimbo.
He'll be on board.
But I mean, I don't know. Was it a Ryan Gosling or James Garner line?
It is a Ryan Gosling line.
Okay, let's see.
And it's reacting to a Rachel McAdams line.
Is it
It's pretty early in the movie.
Oh, early.
Pretty early. Like
So it's not
they're
what do you want?
No, it's not. That's my favorite part of the movie. What do you want? What do you want?
What do you want?
Yeah, that part's great.
Is this bearded Gosling?
No, this is like when they're first in love.
Oh man,
I can just tell you.
I can't even tell you.
When he's all like, "If you're a bird, I'm a bird."
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So you're
Sam
like,
a bird.
Sam a bird. Sam a bird. If you're a bird. If you're a bird, I'm a bird. And I can see why. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
You grow up.
It's nice
with
and
this movie.
sappy.
Yeah. For me, it didn't really stick out, but now it does. Now I'm like, if you're a bird, I'm a bird. I'm a bird. I'm a bird.
I'm a bird.
Not yet.
Not yet. Helen.
So you did mention that the parents of the rich girl, they're kind of jerks, right? But the dad does have like the best mustache in the history of the world, right?
Yeah. Dude.
He looks just like the bad guy from Jumanji. Did you notice that? He had like
Yeah,
the
a little
sick,
bit.
awesome suspenders.
But the guy has those chops, dude.
Oh, that's true.
Jumanji guy has chops. Like thick, freaking amazing chops.
I do like Jumanji.
Oh.
You know, did you hear about the Jumanji
Reboot.
well, it's like a sequel
Oh, yeah.
starring The Rock,
Oh yeah.
your favorite. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And
it's-
Jack Black,
Jack Black's in it?
Kevin Hart,
Dude, that's going to be pretty good.
Nick Jonas.
Okay, well, neither here nor there on that
To
one.
cap it all off,
And the cherry on top.
Nicholas
Nick
Jonas. And his wonderful six-pack abs.
Yep. So, let me pull you on something, Isaac, and the audience too. Feel free to let us know if we say something that you think is completely wrong. We'd love to hear from you.
Because we do have a Facebook page.
We have a Facebook page. We also have an email address, which I
didn't know
was gonna set it up today, but it turns out I had set it up 4 years ago, so I just was able to recover it. So you can hit us up on the Facebook page. You can hit us up on the video in the comments below. You can hit us up at guysguide2chickflicks@gmail.com, which it does not roll off the tongue,
No.
but it is ours. We do own it. Maybe we'll get a Twitter set up in a little bit too. Maybe there will be a Twitter by the time this goes up. We will find out. But either way, what was I talking about? Oh, let us know, like, if you.
Poll.
Oh, okay. Let us know if you disagree with anything. We'd love to hear it. Maybe we'll even read something. If anybody sends us anything, we'd love to read something.
Like I said, just getting off the ground. If you have any
Take it up.
questions, don't be shy,
Yes,
because you'll
please.
be the only one.
Please.
So we'll definitely address it at some point.
Yeah. If you want to talk to us about something, we will answer your question.
James, fire away.
James, please, please, James.
Please.
Hashtag James. That's a boring hashtag, but I like it. Okay, so my question is this: what's sadder to you? All right, like breaking up with your girlfriend of 3 months, or your best friend dying in World War II? Which of those do you think should be a little more impactful in your life?
Probably the friend.
Not in this movie. His buddy, so they go off to World War II, right? His buddy dies, and all we hear is in a voiceover is like, and he died, and you see him lay there, and he's dead. and then it's never brought up again.
His buddy
Not even
dies alongside of him.
in World War II, like right next to him, like he's holding
gets
his
a bomb
hand.
dropped next to him.
Like he's holding his hand when he breathes his last breath.
Yep.
And it never comes up. Rachel McAdams sees him after 7 years and isn't like, hey, so where's your buddy? And he's like, oh, he's dead. Nothing. He shows up from World War II, sees his dad. His dad's like, I sold the house. Let's buy that house because you love that girl. Not like, I'm really sorry that your best friend died.
Well, that's not the first thing you want to say.
Not the first thing,
Well,
but
get the
should've said
happy
it.
news out of the way. Well, I mean, we don't know if they talked about it or not.
It's
not addressed in the film. It's absolutely right.
I would be sad if you died, Isaac.
I would also be sad if you died.
Thanks, man. That means a lot. It really means.
We'd be sad for each other if one another died. That's true. I would bring it up to people. And if somebody bought me a house alongside the news of Seth,
it would really ease the blow.
It would even out.
Yeah, it'd be like that day would go from being like a D- to like a B.
A solid B.
His day,
it's a good B day. It started out
my
bad.
My days always start off at C's, and they can always get better or they can get worse. You died, it went down to an F. And then somebody bought me a house, it kind of eased it up to a B+. It was a big house.
It was a big house.
It was a big house.
It was an old plantation. If somebody bought me an old plantation, I'd be stoked. Don't get me wrong, I'd still be sad. It wouldn't be a B day, it'd be a C day.
But C+.
C+.
Yeah. All right, so, but anyway, during the war, Allie's working as a nurse and she meets James Marsden, which we mentioned is the best human being in the history of the world.
Okay.
He's good looking. He's rich. He's nice. He's patient with her.
He owns cotton.
Yeah, I mean that's old money. Like this is how good of a guy that he is. She comes in. She's like, "Man, I used to paint, and now I really miss painting." And Jody says, "He's like, well, paint."
He's like, okay, paint.
Yeah, that's
like
the right answer.
Like, what's stopping you?
That is the right answer.
It was never me. I didn't know you painted. As a matter of fact, is one thing he says. Oh, I didn't know you painted. Probably because she never brought it up to him because she didn't care to paint at that point.
Also, for somebody who has the hobby of painting, she forgets to bring it up twice. Like, Ryan Gosling's like, what do you do for fun? She's like, I don't do anything for fun. And then later she's like, I guess I like to paint. And then she forgets to tell this guy, I don't think she really likes to paint that much. I mean, maybe.
She's good at it.
She is good at it. She's also good at ghostwriting her whole life into a book and then making her husband read it to her.
She did write it, didn't she?
She wrote it, and that's the only and she's in the note. The Notebook was written by Allie before she got dementia, or like right when she was starting to get dementia.
And then there's a little like, read this to me every night, and you'll have me back.
And I'll come back to you.
And
yeah,
I'll come back.
And I'm like, no wonder he feels like he's got to do it every day.
It's total guilt trip.
She's awful, even when she's old. I don't know. Okay, I'm not talking dementia old. I'm talking when she's.
I will say this: the actor or actress when she's old, I didn't like.
Yeah, she's not my favorite.
She's not very good. James Garner he's killing it.
He's really good.
He's killing it in this movie. And, I mean, he should have got some attention here.
You mean like an Oscar or something?
Well, not like winning, but like a nomination. He's killing it, man. And this old lady's giving him nothing.
Well, to be fair, she's acting like somebody who's got dementia.
Yeah, but not very good.
He's got the meaty part. And she's just supposed to be all like, I don't know what you're talking about.
He's got that Stallone and Creed role.
Oh, you think? That good? Okay, fist fight. Old Noah versus versus Sylvester Stallone, Rocky from Creed. Who wins in a fight? It can be when Rocky has cancer.
Rocky in one punch.
Even when he has cancer?
Absolutely.
Oh, he can barely make it out of bed, though.
Absolutely.
Gee, that's sad. Why did we bring that up?
And you need to know that Stallone is one of my favorite all-time actors.
I know that.
Ever.
I'm aware of that.
If there was a chick flick that had Stallone in it, we'd be talking about it. There kind of is. There's Rhinestone.
That's not chick flick.
I wouldn't. It's a romance, I think.
Yeah.
But there's not, because he's a man's man.
Man's can't be in chick flicks?
No.
What about Will Smith?
He's not a man's man.
Whoa. Shots fired.
He's not a man's man.
Shots fired. The opinions of Isaac McCall do not represent that of...
Yes, they do. He is not a man's man.
Whoa. Okay. Dude, he punches an alien in the face and says, "Welcome to Earth."
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to be nitpicky again. Are you ready?
Mm.
Okay. So right when James Marsden's getting ready to ask her to marry him, right? They're eating chocolate cake. And she has the whitest teeth in the whole world while she's eating chocolate cake. I know it doesn't matter. It's just something I noticed.
But if you drink water while you do it,
she's eating like berries and chocolate cake, and her
if
teeth
you're
are
conscious
white.
about it while you're doing it, you drink the water, you swish it around.
Oh my gosh.
This is high society, dude. Don't count anything out here.
This is high society, dude.
This is legit money. Cotton money, dude.
Dude, there's rich, and then there's cotton
And there's
rich.
cotton rich. And this is cotton rich.
I'm
And we don't know how they
becoming
live their life. We
uncomfortable
don't even know
with
how the
this.
rich live their lives. I don't even know how the middle class lives their life. That's not true.
I was like, I think you do.
Very middle class.
I was gonna
I'm
say-
lower middle class, but I'm there, baby.
I was like,
Don't count me out.
You have a TV. You're-
Don't count me out, baby. I rented this movie for $3 last night.
I was like, James Marsden. Here's a note. I have James Marsden. You are impossibly charming.
Okay. There is things coming out in this podcast that we didn't know about Seth.
Hey, man.
Apparently,
I
James
feel
Marsden-
bad for James Marsden in every movie he's in. Because guess what? He never gets the girl in any movie he's in. In this movie, he's...
Dude.
No.
Did.
Just wait, did.
Hold
Wait,
on.
did.
Hold on.
No,
There's
no,
another Nicholas Sparks movie that James Marsden is in.
Does he get the girl?
He's the lead actor.
What movie are you talking about? We
I
might
don't
have
know
to
what it's
watch
called.
it. We will have to look that up and
But
find it.
because I looked up Nicholas Sparks adaptations,
Okay.
and there's one where he's front and center on the poster kissing some girl. It's called, very generic title.
We are going to have to find this movie, and we are going to have to watch it because James Marsden never gets the girl. He doesn't get her in this movie, and he's a good dude. He doesn't get the girl in X-Men. He gets the girl stolen away from
There's
him in X-Men.
also,
He doesn't get the girl in Superman Returns. And in all these movies, he's a good dude.
dude, he's playing second fiddle to Superman.
It doesn't matter. He was
And
there when Superman.
Wolverine.
Doesn't matter.
And Gosling. Dude, come on.
So the only thing he doesn't have going for him is that he isn't the main character of the movie. That's the only thing.
There is one, though. There's a Katherine Heigl vehicle.
And I know we'll get there eventually. But
It's a bridesmaid kind of bull honky.
not 27 Dresses?
That one.
He's in that one?
I think he's the dude in that one.
I don't know.
I don't know. James Marsden.
James Marsden is my spirit animal.
He's a very charming second place.
Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
He's the Ryan Lochte to the Michael Phelps.
Yeah.
That silver medalist.
So, if you had to write letters to... Because we mentioned before, Noah writes letters to...
One a day for a year.
If you had to write letters to somebody... I know he didn't have to. He chose to. Because he's eloquent and emotional and all those things.
Just a beautiful soul.
Yes. If you had to write letters to somebody for a year, do you think that like maybe they would kind of taper in quality as you went on, or do you think that they would?
Guaranteed. Some of those letters are big old stink piles.
What if she
Like,
you know,
hey,
she
so I
opens...
saw a bird today,
Yeah,
and
I
if you're a
was-
bird, I'm a bird.
Oh, that's better than mine even, because mine was just like, "Dear Allie, I miss you. Today I had spaghetti. Bye." Like that's
See
what
ya.
I could think.
Hey, I got nothing. Okay.
Dear Allie, my friend died today.
So Finn's dead.
Is that his name, Finn?
Yeah.
He went
Super
on.
sad.
I like the guy that plays Finn.
Entourage.
That's Turtle.
No, that's Kevin.
I've never seen Entourage. I don't know why I went out on a limb there. So, all of this being said, right? I've been even watching the movie, I'm like cracking jokes the whole time. Me and Cliff are laughing. But when it stops cutting back and it's just the old person thing, despite it all, I still cried at the end of this movie.
I didn't cry.
I pushed a little bit.
This would be the thing where if I was watching with a girl, and she was sitting on my right side, and I was sitting with my face, half of my face to the left that she couldn't see, I'd have one go down the left side, and I'd wipe it away real quick, and she'd never know the difference.
What happened when this movie got over for me was the movie got over, and Morgan and Kayla were both like wiping their eyes and saying like, "It's so beautiful," and like I got up and I walked past them to go to the bathroom. I was like, "Stupid movie." That's what happened for me. So Like, this movie's stupid. And they're like, did you cry? I was like, yeah, I cried.
Yeah, so what?
Yeah, so what? Like, Ryan Gosling would have cried too.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. When I do cry, I will let you know. I didn't. I got a little choked up. Here's what choked me up. Death scene, nothing.
Is it when she forgot who he was?
Yes.
So
is
sad.
when he cuts to James Garner and he has his
And
hand over his mouth and he's crying because the woman he loves most in the world recognized him for all of 3 minutes and then turned right back into nothing. And he broke down.
That's
and
sad.
that was where I got a little choked up.
That
I
part's
didn't
sad.
cry, but it was sad, man. Put yourself in Garner's shoes.
Yeah, because if you're a bird, I'm a bird.
Exactly. And if you're a bird with dementia and he can't be a bird with dementia, then it's sad.
That part's also sad because then they like lock her up in like the dementia room at the.
I know. It's super sad. But anyway, so pretty good movie.
Pretty
There's
good.
things that we, disagree with. But one of the staples here at Guys Guide to Chick Flicks is we watch a chick flick.
Mm-hmm. Well, wait.
then-
Do we rate this one before we move into this? I didn't hate to break
Okay.
your.
Yeah. Go ahead.
On quality, it's a very well made movie. The actors do a good job. I give this movie.
How many boxes of tissues of 5?
On just sadness rating.
No. I think this should be our rating. Box of tissues or
How many?
hearts, maybe.
How many restored houses?
no,
How many
I got
restored
it, I got it.
plantations?
How many birds?
Oh, this movie gets 3.5 birds out of 5.
Ooh.
Maybe even 4.
I'm going to go a nice 4 birds
That's good.
with a double Ryan Gosling bird, so 8 birds.
Wow. Ryan Gosling.
Because for
bonus,
every
8
one
out of
bird,
5.
there's a Ryan Gosling bird
Oh, see, for every one
Ah,
of your birds, there's one
that's
of
right.
my birds. And
with
I
it.
have a half of a bird.
So I guess it's 2 Rachel McAdams birds for 2 Ryan Gosling birds,
Makes
giving us
4
4 birds.
Perfect.
It's
Okay.
a good movie.
Okay.
So we watch these movies, but we're still guys. Even though Seth cried,
Oh, what is that supposed to
I got
mean?
choked up.
Even though Seth cried.
I got choked up. So we chased it down with a nice dude flick
Or just like a
to
movie.
rebound
Yeah.
and get our masculinity back.
Well, to do
So-
that, but also like if, let's say, like if you wanted to watch a movie that might have some similarities to it, even that's not plugged into anything.
Oh.
We
Or
were
a
recording off that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or a common theme.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. So we necessarily
know.
haven't even watched these movies. So
Not recently.
It's just something that, you wipe the tear off your left cheek and you're like, okay, well, it's my turn to pick a movie so I can get my mojo back. What movie are you going with,
I
Seth?
like how like, the movies are like taking your masculinity away.
Absolutely
I kept my
they are.
masculinity.
These
while I
movies are
watched
robbing
this
us of our masculinity. Don't
That's
you
why-
cry.
That's why we're talking about it, and we're bringing the word to you people.
Yeah,
See-
brother. The Turbilia, brother. Yeah, dude.
Okay, so my chaser is Memento because he also can't remember anything that's happening.
Very
So,
good. Very good.
The movie Memento is about a guy who has like no long-term memory, so he's constantly forgetting everything.
So he constantly tattoos and Polaroids things.
Yeah, so it's like an action thriller.
Christopher Nolan movie.
It's really good. Yeah, that's mine.
Okay.
The similarities, the connections is the both movies
Dementia.
have characters that don't remember things.
Here's mine.
Okay.
Sticking with an actor.
Okay, that's a good way to do it too.
You cry tears in this
What
movie.
Ryan Gosling movie are you picking?
If you cry tears in this movie,
Drive.
it gets to you. You wipe the cheek, and then you put in "Remember the Titans"
Oh,
to cry a different kind of tears, because that movie will get me every time. Gary Bertier, my man. That movie gets me every time, but it's a great. I think your lady or whoever you're with would also enjoy this movie a lot.
It's a good
It's
movie.
great movie.
can't
It's
you see
got
the family
Gosling in it.
resemblance?
It's got a young, fresh Gosling in there, possibly even before The Notebook.
It's before The Notebook, yeah.
It's a great one. You'll also probably cry during that one, but it's different, masculine, strong tears.
Yeah, they're different kinds of tears.
Different tears.
Having cried during both of those movies, I can tell you they're the same tears, okay? The
Masculine
same
tears.
sobs, the same everything. So that's it, man. You got anything else you want to say?
That's it. It's good to be back, baby.
It's good to be back. Don't be afraid to hit us up and let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any ideas. What movie would you want to chase The Notebook down with? I don't know. That's about it. Hey, you take care of yourselves. Let us know what you think, and we'll hit you up next time.
On Guys Guide to Chick Flicks.
Hoorah.